This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you by the Daily Herald.
We're here at Naperville Central with Coach Mike Stine for girls track and field. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure.
You are known for being a football coach, but you're also the head varsity girls and track and field coach. So how are you able to balance the two different sports?
You know, it's really all I know. You know, I've been doing this for 31 years. I've been the head football coach, just finished my 10th year, but I've been doing girls track for 31 years. And, you know, it's two different beasts, and I really enjoy both of them. You know, I look forward to change from football into football season. Really never ends. We're still doing football stuff now, but with the girls track season, you know, I really enjoy spending time with them also.
You said you've been coaching this a lot longer. So what got you into coaching track and field?
Well, my dad was a head coach for 37 years. He coached for 40, and he coached football and track. So I knew at a young age this is what I wanted to do. I've been extremely blessed to end up here at Naperville Central and to be able to have the opportunity that I have here. And you know, I enjoy every day when I come to work.
Now, not trying to be gender oriented here, but what made you start working with the girls?
You know, it really started back my first or second year. George Sear was the head coach when I first came here, and the girls track program was really kind of an afterthought. And after that first year, him and I went to the conference meet over at Glenbard South. I think that was 1985. I think we scored 3 points. We scored in the 3200. That was the only event we scored in. And you know, I said to George, I said, we got to do one of two things. We either got to put more time and effort into the girls, or we need to drop the program. And so he kind of handed the reins over to me then, and I've been doing it ever since.
So to take a program and build it the way you have, much like the football program, how rewarding is that to see where some of the girls have finished that you've coached? Yeah,
you know what? It is very rewarding, and again, you know, it's a lot of things. I mean, it's a great community. We have great administrative support with facilities, and we just have outstanding assistant coaches. And you know, the athletes, you know, they're fun. They want to be successful. You know, again, we're blessed here. Not that they're not that way at other schools. But you know, here at Naperville Central, our kids want to be successful. They're not afraid to work hard, and you know, and like I said, I enjoy coming to work every day.
It's still early in the indoor track season, so what have you liked about your team so far?
You know, we have some nice senior leadership. We have a large squad. This is the largest team we've ever had. We got about 140 girls out for track. So, you know, managing that without a field house, running in the hallways, the stairwells, the distance runners do go outside. You know, it's really indoor season. It's really training for us. We don't get an opportunity to do many of the events till we go to meets. Our girls never run curves except in track meets. So, you know, we use the indoor season as training, trying to prepare for the outdoor season. And, you know, we're very, very fortunate. We have some great seniors. Dejanay, who's, you know, she's the fastest girl in school history. She's one of the top sprinters in the state. We start with her. Jocelyn Dostal, a hurdler, a jumper, you know, as a 4-year track athlete. Both of them are going to go on to college and continue to perform. And, you know, we have a pretty well-rounded team. You know, we're pretty solid in all the field events, sprints, jumps, hurdles. You know, we cover them all pretty well. But you have to in our conference. You know, just like the other sports, our track conference is really good and really difficult. So you got to be really good just to compete.
We just saw you guys last week at the Wheaton Warrenville South Invite. You guys took first place in that. So how are you liking them coming together as a team and seeing it get a chance to take on other competition?
Yeah, you know, again, it's our young kids learning how we do things from our seniors. And again, trying to mold it together, you know, and when we get outdoors, we got 18 track events. You know, we talk a lot about it. You got to have your front runners, you got to have your stars, but then you got to be able to fill all 18 events. And right now, the indoor season is trying to put all those pieces together. You know, it's a lot like, you know, other sports, you know, football, trying to put 11 guys, getting them to go and execute a play. Track is very similar to that. You got to figure out how can we score the most points by moving people around. You know, each person can do 4 events, and there's 18 events you got to cover.
You mentioned Dejanay. She is one, like you said, one of the top runners. So what has she meant for the program, and as far as being a senior, taking these younger girls under her wing?
Yeah, I mean, again, just you her senior leadership, she's run down state 3 years in a row. She knows what it takes to get back there. Nothing's for granted. You got to work hard. So she knows what hard work it takes. She knows what we expect in practice. So if I need to leave to go somewhere else, I can put her in charge of an area. And again, just her drive and just her understanding of what it takes to be an elite runner in the state of Illinois and in our conference. The young girls, really, have her to follow. And we have some other really good athletes too on our team.
Finally getting a chance to see some of the other competition. What is that like for the girls early in the season?
Again, our conference prepares you well for the state tournament in all sports. We talk about it, in track, just like the other sports. And, Neuqua Valley's got 2 or 3 outstanding runners that are going to place. Naperville North, they're the best distance team in the state. They have been for years. So, Lake Park, Glenbard North has good sprinters. Our conference up and down, we probably will have somebody place in the state meet. In every event from our conference. You got the throwers from Mattia Valley that are very good. Wabanzi has a great thrower. I mean, it's up and down. It's our conference it's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, to see special athletes run, even if they're not on your team, they're fun to watch.
You mentioned earlier the difference between indoor and outdoor, being that, space is limited indoors. So how are you, is there any different techniques to teaching the girls how to run indoors compared to outdoors?
Well, really, we use the indoor season to build a base. That's what we're trying to do, is build a foundation with our strength. When we get outside, we'll work a little bit more speed stuff. We'll be able to get a little bit more event sprint specific, and even some of our field events. Indoors, they may only get 1 day a week to train. Now, once we get outdoors, they can have 3 or 4 days to train. So we really use, for most of us, it's to build a base, to build a foundation, to put a little money in the bank, as we tell the girls, so when we get the middle of May, we can take some withdrawals.
You said your dad coached track and field. I guess when you were an athlete back in the day, what were you, best at for the track and field?
Well, in track, I really would have been a good decathlete because I wasn't great in any one event. I was pretty good in quite a few. I did end up in the state meet in the 400. That was probably my best event at the state level. But I dabbled in all of them. The only event I never did in a meet was the 3200. Otherwise, I did every other event. And I came from a small school, so that wasn't unusual. At Byron, a lot of us did a lot of events.
So you have knowledge in each of these events. So when you are coaching these girls, you obviously know what you're talking about, other than just running or hurdles or something. So how does that help you relate to the girls when you're coaching them up?
Well, I have had some experience, but again, we're fortunate. We have seven coaches, 6 assistants, that are able to specialize, and I can help them out. But I trust them to do their job. Some of them are pretty knowledgeable themselves, so I don't have to coach all events. My specialty on this track team is I coach the girl sprints, and I coach the relays. And the field events are there's someone else's position, and I'll go in and help them out. But I don't have to do that. Again, I'm very blessed to have the coaching staff we have here at Naperville Central.
Have you had to take any of your coaching philosophies from the football field and translate them to girls and track, or is it 2 different sports and 2 different ways of coaching?
Well, I think coaching, in all honesty, coaching is about relationships. X's and O's and all, we talk about that in football. X's and O's can sometimes be overrated. And I think the same thing, sometimes technique in track and field can be a little bit overrated. It's really about building relationships to be able to have the ability to touch athletes at a different level, to be able to push them to an area that maybe they didn't think they could go. And you can't do that unless you build a foundation and build a relationship. So, we do a lot of that in football, but we still try and do that in track and field too. So, coaching, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, I really think that's what coaching should be about. It should be about building relationships and helping boys turn into men and girls turn into positive, contributing young ladies.
What would you like to see out of this indoor season going into the outdoor season as far as a team building aspect of things? Is there a certain goals that you're trying to achieve in the indoors, or is it just towards the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, indoors, even outdoors, we talk a lot about personal best, and again, most of us in this area, we've been touched somehow by Al Carius from North Central College. Run for fun and personal best. I mean, we all know that. We all believe in that. We all learned that from him, and he's had a huge impact on all of us. And we do that with our programming. We'll do that after every meet. We'll sit down, we hand out season's best and personal best beads to the girls. And if everyone's getting better, it doesn't matter what place. The placing will eventually take care of themselves. But as long as you're improving, no one can ask you to do more than your best. And if you've done your best, it doesn't matter what place you've gotten.
Well, again, thank you, Coach, for joining me. And I know Al Carius has meant a lot to your program, and we thank you for joining us, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you guys do and the coverage that you do.
Absolutely.